partly sunny skies and 57. And to another woman who likes to be double-fisted in a different way, I think, Jess.
She means beer. She means beer. Guys, she means beer. Don't put me on YouTube. My God.
Guys, welcome to Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Well, once again, Disney and ESPN bet on the wrong horse. They go all in on women's sports. They go all in for the LDHD TV community. At one point, they came out for men and women's sports, but apparently they're backtracking on that due to backlash. And, well, let me tell you the first two stories, and then and it won't take long, and you'll see what happens to a sports channel that decides to bet on the ladies. One of the things that I noticed is in NFL, NBA, they're having these women's side commentators and women giving play-by-play announcements on about things that are happening on the field. And women can enjoy the sports, and I get it. Maybe they've watched the sports for years, although most of these commentators look like they're 25 and kind of like the girl you see in the thumbnail. So I question how much they know about sports. But none of them have played the sports. And when I hear of somebody talking about football or basketball, I want somebody that like a player or a former coach or somebody that, participated in, at least in high school or something. So a lot of people are not really interested in the women and men's sports. Before I jump into the story, let me mention this real quick. Tonight, in like about an hour, am I right? Yeah, an hour from me uploading this, we've got Saturday Night at the Movies over on betterbachelor.locals.com. It's free to watch and join in on the live stream. All you have to do is become a member, which is making up a name, a profile, and your email address. And you can come over and join us for that. Or, of course, you can come on over and become a supporter today. Anyway, that's free. It's starting in about an hour, so make sure to come over and check that out. So let's start here first with a post from a David Hookstead. He is, who is he? You can find me watching college football, king of Wisconsin Badgers athletics, and he's a gunslinger out at Outkick. He's got 32,000 followers. He says, ESPN has gone so woke, and its top two stories today are about women's college basketball, not the men's tournament, not the NFL free agency, and not the upcoming NFL draft. Women's college basketball takes the top two spots at ESPN. He said, who's asking for this? And it's got about 10 million views on that. And he's right. Because women's college stuff, just there's no fans that show up. They don't make nearly the money the men's teams do. Nobody likes to see second best. They want to see men performing the sports because the men are the most athletic and the most competitive. Then ESPN comes out and they say, we stand with our LGHD TV colleagues, friends, and families. They issue a statement of support for the movement. Now, of course, you all also know they're Disney-linked, and other Disney-linked entities have also issued similar statements. So let's check in and see how this is working out for ESPN. ESPN to begin layoffs early next week as part of Disney cost cuts, sources say. They say ESPN will begin layoffs early next week as part of parent company Disney's cost-cutting efforts, according to people familiar with the matter. Cuts will include some on-air talent and management, said the people. Let me zoom this up so we can see. Who asked not to be named because their discussions are private. The number of layoffs at ESPN is unclear, and the decision process is still fluid. Although they say up here that they're going to eliminate 7,000 jobs just from ESPN. That doesn't include other Disney entities. It doesn't include Disney itself. And I'll tell you, when you're starting to get rid of the people that are on air, the people that are actually front-facing doing the shows themselves, that shows you that people are not interested in watching the shows. If people really loved the stars or the hosts and the co-hosts of these programs that they put on, they wouldn't be cutting them. They'd be just thinning out the management a little bit. But they're getting rid of the personalities on TV. And they've also gone really strong in with the Bravo Lima Mike, the BLM stuff. They say an ESPN spokesperson declined to comment. Disney is eliminating 7,000 jobs in 3 rounds, with the second round happening next week, 2,300 each round. The company will also lay off about 15% of the staff in its entertainment division next week, Bloomberg reported this week. So say it with me, everybody. Get woke, go broke. Disney's first round of cuts occurred last month and included its Metaverse strategies unit and part of its Beijing office. So they're breaking off things with Facebook because Facebook is cranking back. Am I correct in that? Yeah, they say here, Disney, like most companies in 2021, hopped on the Metaverse hype train after Facebook changed its name to Meta, outlined bold claims to create a new digital world. CEO Bob Chapek jumped on board. So I guess I'm right. So they're cutting ties with Facebook because Facebook's drowning right now, and their new virtual reality space is going nowhere because people can't afford the hardware and people really don't have much interest in it. And if you're like me, who's tried it, it kind of makes me dizzy. Maybe I haven't done it long enough, but I find myself feeling nauseated and starting to sweat after using VR for about 15 minutes. They say Disney is slashing costs under CEO Bob Iger as it tries to boost free cash flow as streaming losses persist. ESPN is interested in renewing a contract with the National Basketball Association and will likely have to pay a significant premium on the $1.4 billion per year rights fee it already pays the league. Renewal discussions with the NBA are already taking place, according to a person familiar with the matter. Disney said earlier this year it plans to cut $5.5 billion in costs, including $3 billion in content spending. Now, I will say this. I have not watched a lot of basketball. I used to watch it a lot back when there was, Karl Malone and Stockton. I used to watch the Utah Jazz a lot. And you had Michael Jordan and you had Scottie Pippen into the league. And I even went back and watched it when Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. But since then, I just found that some of ESPN's shows started arguing about salaries and the color of players' skin, and they started to get into the race stuff. And I'm like, I do not want this mixed in with my sports. Again, you can't escape the damn politics of everything. And I know a lot of other people that felt the same way, and they just kind of faded out of that particular sport and started watching something else instead. I don't have a cable subscription, so I don't pay anything to watch the NFL. Thankfully, antenna, believe it or not, can get you most of everything you need. But I still watch a little bit of football. But when you start seeing names of people that have gotten in interactions with the cops on the back of helmets and love this and free speech, or not free speech, love this and no hate, and then in the goal posts or something says something about race or Bravo, Lima, Mike, or all that stuff. It's just like, you know what, I'm kind of like, the message is too much. I'm going to find something better to do with my life. And you just go out and touch grass. I think that's happening a lot. And ESPN, and of course, everything that Disney's doing with everything. I think that people are just done with it, and they're going to find something better to do with their lives. They say Disney reorganized earlier this year, and ESPN will release its financials as its own division for the first time. The change will offer a clear window into ESPN's business. Disney is set to report earnings on May 10th. So maybe if there's an update to this, that's about, 3 weeks away. It'll be really interesting to see, hey, you know what? Who's losing all the money? And if ESPN turns around and is losing a good bit of money and they're not really bringing it in, maybe that's one of the things where they start passing on the NBA contracts and they let other news organizations pick it up. Maybe that means the NBA's contracts will have to be cheaper for them to get picked up to be shown on national news, which means they'll be losing money. They sold out to China a long time ago. I think maybe that's really when I started to get out of basketball. Yeah, probably when LeBron James started coming out, and some of the coaches and owners started coming out saying, don't say anything bad about the regime. That you can't get a jersey or anything that says Free Hong Kong on it because they want to bow down to China. I think that's a big reason why I left the NBA as well, just watching them. So they've got a lot going against them and not many things going for them. And again, as people run out of disposable cash and as their belts tighten, a lot of people are probably going to start downsizing if they still have cable. They're probably going to start downsizing their cable subscriptions. They're probably going to stop paying for, the yearly NFL ticket, or I'm sure there's an NBA ticket, and they're going to start pulling back a little bit. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Again, a lot of this money, things are really tightening up, and a lot of companies that have been doing very well for a long time that had free cash flow would take a loan from a bank at 0% interest and buy back their own stock just to keep, the value of the stock artificially high. Now that they can't do that anymore, what they're going to start doing is they're going to want to recuperate some of their money to pay back even the 0% loans because they can't get any more money. they're likely going to start selling some of that stock and the price will come down. And as that happens, they're going to have a lower cash flow, and, we'll see. We'll see how many of these companies survive the upcoming chop. But going in all on women and going in on the Bravo Lima Mike and going in on the, diversity and all this other stuff and the LDHD TV community, ESPN is not profitable for Disney. Disney is not profitable. They're going to, now maybe there's some investments made by foreign investors that are still interested, but I just do not see how any of this continues and it keeps going. But go woke, go broke, 7,000 jobs gone from ESPN and probably more to come. So we'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. But again, you leave the guys behind. You take women's sports over men's sports and show people things, try to force things onto people that they're not interested in. They're going to tap out. They're going to find something better to do. Guys, again, join us in about an hour or so. We're going to be doing movie night over on betterbachelor.locals.com. We get about 250 people. I think our best is about 300 people in there watching a live stream where I drink and we talk about stuff, share memes, and just have some laughs while we're watching a couple movies. So I hope you join us. We do it every Saturday night, just so you know. We'll see you in the next one.